one or more Bitcoin ETFs look to be approved within just days, Bitcoin has just breached the very last resistance before Moonboy Mission 2021 is confirmed. While some are hesitant that Bitcoin will reach 6 digits before end of year, there's growing likelihood that $100,000 per Bitcoin is a low target for this blow-off scenario. And with Gary Gobstopper's SEC seemingly prepared to allow futures-based Bitcoin ETFs, will a spot-based ETF also be approved this year? I'm your host, Bobby Blastoff. And let's just say Bitcoin is not the only thing blasting off today. To get in your channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn this goes notifications, absolute time-sensitive alerts, and as well, without any further ado, let's pump on in. Goodness gracious, Bitcoin is exploding faster than me on prom night. Absolutely so big here. So obviously, I'm sure many of you have heard about this potentially huge news, but before we jump into all of these news items today, let's take a look at Bitcoin, which has not only breached 59,000 within the last 24 hours, but also 60,000, 61,000, and came within $100 so far of 62,000. However, I would not be shocked to see that price get smashed as well, as this is the single biggest potential event in the history of Bitcoin. So this is very big. And I know you're probably thinking, well, these are most likely going to be only futures-based Bitcoin ETFs approved. Yes, that is more than likely the case right now. However, what are the chances of a spot-based ETF also being approved? And with that being said, is a futures-based ETF still going to absolutely pump the price? As we've seen the rumor of it being approved already pump the price. Wow, so we're going to be jumping into Bitcoin price later in the video, but basically what has happened so far is that the SEC has not, at this very second, approved a Bitcoin ETF. However, again, by the time this video gets uploaded, maybe they will have approved one. Although it's more likely that that won't happen until early next week. But whatever the case is, we're going to be talking about what that means when they do, if they do. But NASDAQ has approved a Bitcoin ETF, or technically it's a pre-approval here, but we're still waiting for the SEC. And you can see that posted here, originally tweeted here by Julian Hosp, in regards to the Valkyrie ETF Trust. So this is just very big for Bitcoin. And the SEC is actually potentially going to approve more than one Bitcoin ETF even this month. So again, there's a lot going on. Remember, we talked about last month them telling multiple entities to resubmit their ETF applications. And it was kind of fishy because we were thinking, wow, does this mean that they're actually going to consider approving the ETF? And again, as the weeks have gone on, it looks more and more likely. Last week we were saying there was probably, an 80% chance of an ETF approval this month. Now it looks much higher than that. So a person familiar with the SEC's deliberations told CNBC the regulator, the SEC, is not likely to block ETF proposals by ProShares and Invesco, which are based on futures contracts. And again, spot is obviously the better option here. The fund launch will mark the conclusion of a years-long crusade by the almost $7 trillion ETF industry to persuade the SEC to research and sanction an ETF related to Bitcoin. And again, this is important. Many are eager for a pure play ETF backed by physical Bitcoins, which would be a spot-based ETF, which I've been mentioning a few times already. That would be the best case scenario, though a decision on those funds is not expected very soon, okay? We will get a decision on those eventually, but they're not expected to be decided on before the end of October, like these futures-based ETFs are. Investors say those direct funds circumvent the high cost of rolling into futures contracts, which do not adequately track the spot price of Bitcoin. So that's one of the little concerns there. But with that as well, $100,000 Bitcoin is maybe a conservative target. And it's a target that people were saying is kind of like the lowest case scenario. And that's even ignoring any kind of ETF approval, which it looks like now we're going to be getting. So Jurien Timmer here, Fidelity's director of global macro, says that $100,000 is a conservative estimate based on the intersections of his supply model and his demand model. So again, I think a lot of people would agree as well that $100,000 is a very easy milestone for Bitcoin to reach, considering Bitcoin would have to move up less than 100% to reach there, right? We're already more than halfway to $100,000 for Bitcoin. And a lot of people have been talking about, those other targets, $200,000, $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 blow-off scenario before the end of the cycle. And again, we still have what I believe is many, many weeks left of this bull cycle, at least 4 to 6 weeks, in my opinion. And again, even a little bit longer for altcoins, because altcoins, if you're wondering when altcoins will run, probably not until Bitcoin has surpassed 6 digits will we see the biggest alt gains, okay? So be patient. A lot of people are panicking, saying that they only have altcoins. If you're familiar with the cycles, you would not be panicking, okay? This is very normal and natural, especially if a Bitcoin ETF gets approved. You better believe Bitcoin is going to pump, okay? We're not focusing on altcoins at this very second if a Bitcoin ETF gets approved. And it ends here saying, Timur thinks the regulation will be resolved over time and it will be a positive because it will legitimize crypto. There is volatility, and it's not going to go away because of Bitcoin's innate price inelasticity. But basically the point is here, we are in that exact transition period, and this is the most exciting time in crypto, I believe. I've been in crypto for 5 years, and this is, without a doubt, the most exciting time, in my opinion. And Bitcoin has breached 60,000, and this article is already outdated. It's only like an hour old. It's about an hour old, and it's already outdated because Bitcoin has moved well beyond 60,000, at least temporarily, as traders anticipate an ETF. So approval of an ETF will buy Bitcoin futures contracts, not the coins themselves, and it would increase the cryptocurrency's legitimacy and make it easier for institutional investors to get exposure. Now, it's not all good. Obviously, there's some downsides, and I'm not on here saying a Bitcoin futures ETF is the best thing that could ever happen to crypto. It is basically the biggest thing that could happen to crypto so far because of just how much capital is involved with US ETFs here. But 4 ETF applications submitted in August are pending approval, and the deadline is coming soon. And that's why a lot of people believe that this will be by early next week. And as well, before we get into the Bitcoin price, I just wanted to give a big rest in peace yet again to all the people that followed Peter Schiff. I don't even know what I would do. I'd probably be crying like a little baby in the corner if I had taken Peter's advice and bought gold over Bitcoin. And I'm sure glad that I didn't. Am I saying gold is bad? That's not what I'm saying at all. But Peter has made a career at this point off of bashing Bitcoin and saying that gold is better. And if you just look at any chart, okay, it'll show you that is the lowest IQ opinion that you could have had about Bitcoin, basically. And Peter is giving actual financial advice. I'm a YouTube boy giving advice, and if people would have followed my advice over Peter's advice, they would be better off financially, hundreds of times better. So I just think that's ironic that Peter actually gives financial advice, and I make mommy jokes on videos, and you would have made a lot more money listening to my mommy jokes than following Peter Schiff, the actual financial advisor. So big. So with that, Bitcoin has absolutely mooned so far today. It's up about, let's take a look, over 6%. But the reason this is big is just looking on this long-term macro chart, we have breached the Omega Fettuccine level for the first time in 5 months. Wow, what a straight line. Very nice. Let's get a round of applause for that. But yeah, look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Bitcoin, we've been waiting for this, and now the doors have been blown open. Could we still get a pullback? I'm sure we will at some point. And I see a lot of people saying that actually the low, if we get another bear market, which is very likely, the low actually will be right around the $48,000 to $55,000 range, which I think makes a lot of sense as well. So pretty much, I know Kevin Svensson talked about this yesterday, and I've seen a lot of other people say somewhat similar things, and also that kind of just makes sense to me that let's say we have a massive move like this over the next few months. Maybe the low where we come back down to is actually kind of right where we just blasted off from, right around the $48,000, $47,000, $50,000 level, meaning that might be the lowest Bitcoin will go from here on out. And I mean, I tend to agree with that. I don't think we will see a 20 or 30K Bitcoin. And once we defended it right here, as I was saying, I said back here, I actually said the day this happened on May 19th, that was the bottom. And I got a lot of negative comments from people who are not very experienced in crypto telling me I was wrong and we were going to 10, 15, 20K. And now they're silent. I also blocked a lot of them because I don't want my audience and myself to lose IQ points by reading their low IQ comments. But yeah, we held 30K. We also held 40K here just about a month ago, and here we are blasting off exactly as predicted. And really what's going to be fun about this is that the TA, once we have, I mean, just like we were doing TA back here, like once we actually breach all-time highs, it's a little bit harder to do TA. A lot of people resort to like Fibonacci extensions and things like that, which is exactly kind of what this chart is here. Here is $100,000 Bitcoin. Here is $120,000 Bitcoin. I personally think, $120,000 Bitcoin is going to be a piece of cake, which is literally about a 2x from where we are. Bitcoin would basically double from where we are right now, and that would be about a $120,000 Bitcoin, and we're getting very close to that. And at this point, I think it's just time for people to sit back, relax, and watch the gains and watch the pumpage, because this bad boy is about to get very big. And like I said, if you're in altcoins, do not stress yourself out. Altcoins will run, okay? Absolutely. But again, they are going to be the latter to run. They're going to be running later, most likely. So if you're new channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. If you're interested in earning rewards with your ADA or any other bonuses, make sure to check out the pinned comment below. And without any further ado,